What if one of humanity's greatest monuments wasn't what we thought it was? For over 4,500 years, it has stood as a silent sentinel in the Sahara. A monument of such staggering scale and precision, it defies explanation. 2 million stones, some weighing as much as 15 tons, fit together with astonishing accuracy. But what was its true purpose? Hidden chambers, secret doors, and a mysterious void deep within its core. Did the ancients harness the Earth's energy in ways we are only beginning to understand? Join us as we unlock the secrets of the Great Pyramid and challenge everything you thought you knew about the past.
At the dawn of history, 2,500 years before Christ, an entire civilization gathered to build the greatest monuments on Earth. 13 million tons of solid rock, enough to build the city of London, were hauled across the deserts. Why? What vision drove this?
What if one of humanity's greatest monuments wasn't what we thought it was? As dawn breaks over the Sahara, the first rays of sunlight strike the limestone blocks of the Great Pyramid of Giza, igniting a golden glow that has captivated observers for over 4,500 years. We embark on a journey to delve into the mysteries concealed within this ancient wonder. Constructed around 2560 BCE, the Great Pyramid stands as a monumental testament to the ingenuity and ambition of the ancient Egyptians. Traditionally believed to be the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu, its sheer scale is astounding. Over 2 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 15 tons, assembled with such precision that even a credit card cannot slip between them. To put its size into perspective, the pyramid covers an area large enough to house 5 soccer fields. Entering the pyramid, we navigate the descending passage, a narrow corridor stretching over 100 meters, comparable to the length of a football field. This passage is less than 1.5 meters high, compelling visitors to stoop as they proceed into the depths of the structure. It leads to the subterranean chamber, an unfinished room beneath the pyramid's base, roughly the size of a large 2-car garage, but with a ceiling so low it feels like the earth is pressing down upon you. The rough, unadorned walls suggest either an abandoned project or a deliberate enigma left by the builders. Ascending back, we find the ascending passage, steep and confined, like climbing the aisle of a sharply tilted airplane. This corridor guides us toward the Grand Gallery, a breathtaking passageway as tall as a 7-story building and half a football field long. Walking through it feels akin to standing inside a colossal stone cathedral, the walls angling inward as if to draw your gaze upward toward the heavens. From the Grand Gallery, a horizontal passage takes us to the Queen's Chamber. This room, similar in size to a spacious master bedroom with a vaulted ceiling, holds more questions than answers. In 1993, a robotic explorer named Upuaut Saku ventured into the chamber's so-called air shafts, narrow tunnels no wider than a grapefruit. The robot discovered a limestone door with copper handles, known as Gantenbrink's door. Behind it lay another door, and beyond that, uncertainty. These blocked shafts remain a source of intrigue, with some suggesting they may conceal hidden chambers or hold symbolic significance related to ancient Egyptian beliefs. Above us looms the King's Chamber, constructed entirely of granite rich in quartz crystals. The chamber is as imposing as a small banquet hall, yet eerily empty. An unadorned granite sarcophagus sits silently, devoid of inscriptions or any signs of a royal occupant. No mummy or treasure was ever found here, a fact that continues to puzzle historians and fuels speculation about the pyramid's true purpose. In 2017, using advanced muon tomography technology, scientists uncovered the Big Void, a hidden cavity the size of a passenger plane's fuselage nestled above the Grand Gallery. Its exact purpose remains unknown, and accessing it could risk damaging the pyramids. First-hand accounts, deepen the mystery. In the early 19th century, explorer Giovanni Battista Caviglia braved the pyramid's inner passages. He described the experience as walking into the heart of an immense mystery, each stone whispering secrets of a forgotten time. His explorations, though perilous, contributed valuable insights, but also highlighted how much remains undiscovered. So, why is the Great Pyramid considered a tomb when no pharaoh's body was ever found within? Traditional archaeology points to its alignment with mortuary temples and texts that associate pyramids with the afterlife journey of the pharaohs. The pyramid complex includes elements typical of royal tombs, and other pyramids have indeed been found with burial chambers containing sarcophagi and funerary goods. Yet, some theorists propose alternative explanations. They suggest that the pyramid may have served as an astronomical observatory, a place of spiritual initiation, or even an ancient power plant. The latter theory draws fascinating parallels with the work of inventor Nikola Tesla, who was captivated by the pyramidal shape and its potential to harness and transmit energy. Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower was designed for wireless energy transmission, utilizing the Earth's natural frequencies, a concept that mirrors theories about the pyramid's function. The use of granite in the king's chamber, with its piezoelectric properties due to quartz crystals, leads some to speculate that the pyramid could generate energy through the Earth's vibrations or the flow of underground water. A natural aquifer lies beneath the pyramid. While there's no concrete evidence linking Tesla's theories directly to the Great Pyramid, the similarities are intriguing. Our journey ends where it began, at the pyramid's base, but the questions linger. What if the true purpose of the Great Pyramid was to bridge the earthly and the divine, not just in a spiritual sense, but through harnessing the very forces of nature? As the shadows lengthen over the sands, we realize that the pyramid doesn't just hold history, it challenges our understanding of it. In the words of renowned explorer Indiana Jones, archaeology is the search for fact, not truth. If it's truth you're interested in, Dr. Tyree's philosophy class is right down the hall.
King's Chamber itself is a testament to the Egyptians' advanced understanding of materials and construction techniques. Carved from red granite brought all the way from Aswan, over 800 kilometers away, the chamber's very walls speak of a civilization capable of monumental feats of logistics and engineering. The room's dimensions, about 10.47 meters by 5.234 meters and 5.974 meters high, are thought to be imbued with symbolic meaning, perhaps aligning with celestial or pharaonic principles.
If we're only looking for a mere reflection of ourselves, we could overlook it completely. I think we're getting very close to rediscovering some of the things that our ancient ancestors were up to.
At the chamber's center lies a red granite sarcophagus, believed to be the intended resting place of Pharaoh Khufu, though intriguingly, no human remains have ever been discovered within it. The sarcophagus bears marks of damage and wear, silent witnesses to the millennia that have passed since its creation. Its very presence in the chamber, given its size, suggests it was placed there during the construction of the room, hinting at the meticulous planning that went into the pyramid's design. Above the chamber, an ingenious system of 5 relieving chambers helps distribute the weight of the pyramid, protecting the space below. This feature highlights the ancient builders' sophisticated understanding of structural integrity. Additionally, the chamber is equipped with 2 narrow shafts extending to the pyramid's exterior. Initially thought to be for ventilation, these shafts are now believed to possibly serve a more symbolic purpose, possibly aligning with stars or celestial phenomena significant to Khufu's journey in the afterlife. Step into the heart of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and you'll find yourself in the Grand Gallery, an awe-inspiring testament to the ancient Egyptians' architectural genius.
I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones, how they brought them up to that level. I think we're looking, again, at a lost technology.
This corridor is not just a path to the king's chamber. It's a showcase of ancient ingenuity and a symbol of the civilization's advanced engineering capabilities. Imagine walking through this grand space, with walls that narrow as you look upwards, thanks to the sophisticated corbelling technique used in its construction. This method, where each layer of stone slightly overhangs the one below, creates a dramatic narrowing effect towards the ceiling. It's a clear sign of the Egyptians' mastery in using architecture not only for structural stability, but also to inspire awe. The materials themselves, limestone blocks for the walls and heavier stones for the ceiling, were chosen with care, ensuring the gallery could bear the immense weight of the pyramid above. The Grand Gallery served a crucial role as the gateway to the king's chamber, possibly designed to awe and inspire those who walked its length. But its purpose might have extended beyond mere access. Some scholars suggest it played a part in the pharaoh's funeral procession or other rituals connected to the afterlife journey. Features like the Great Step, a massive stone at the gallery's end, and various slots and holes along its walls hint at a space designed for more than simple passage, possibly aiding in the construction of the chamber. Moving on to another fascinating marvel of the pyramid, the Queen's Chamber. It holds mysteries that have puzzled scholars and enthusiasts for centuries. Despite its regal name, it's widely believed that this chamber was never intended as a final resting place for a queen. The lack of any burial artifacts and its distinctive features have sparked endless speculation about its true purpose. Positioned centrally within the pyramid, yet at a lower elevation compared to the majestic king's chamber, the Queen's Chamber offers its own unique allure. Imagine venturing about 20 meters above the ground level through a corridor extending from the Grand Gallery to discover this intriguing space. Its dimensions create an unexpectedly spacious environment, with a pointed roof reaching up towards the pyramid's core, adding to the chamber's grandeur. One of the chamber's most striking features is a large niche in the eastern wall. Standing about 4.6 meters high, this vertical recess has baffled many. Was it intended for a statue serving a symbolic or ritualistic purpose, or does it hold a deeper meaning related to the pharaoh's journey in the afterlife? The construction technique of the chamber's roof, using corbelled layers of stone that create an inverted V-shape, mirrors the design seen in the king's chamber, suggesting a deliberate architectural choice to ensure stability and perhaps to bear symbolic weight. Theories about the chamber's purpose are as varied as they are fascinating. Some suggest it was used for rituals related to the pharaoh's rebirth or regeneration, with the niche possibly housing a statue or symbolic object. Others propose that its location and design might reflect ancient Egyptian cosmological beliefs or serve a more mundane purpose, like distributing the pyramid's weight or housing a statue of the deceased in a serdab-like arrangement. Recent technological advances have opened new doors in understanding the Queen's Chamber. Non-invasive techniques like infrared thermography and muon radiography have been employed to peek behind the chamber's walls, searching for unknown cavities or clues to its construction and purpose. Within the Great Pyramids lays another mystery. Its air shafts and the subterranean chamber, features as fascinating as they are puzzling. The air shafts, narrow corridors carved into the stone, stretch from the king's and queen's chambers to the pyramid's exterior. These aren't your average architectural elements. Their design, discovery, and speculated purposes are a treasure trove of intrigue and speculation. First off, these air shafts are tiny, just about 20 by 20 centimeters, too narrow for any human to pass through. They zigzag with precision towards the heavens, pointing to specific regions in the sky that held great significance in ancient Egyptian cosmology. Discovered in 1872 by the engineer Wayman Dixon, the shafts from the Queen's Chamber were a late find in the pyramid's history, adding layers to the mystery surrounding this ancient wonder. Originally thought to ventilate the chambers, this idea doesn't hold up for the Queen's Chamber shafts, which don't quite reach the exterior. Instead, the prevailing theories are far more mystical. Some believe these shafts were aligned with stars or constellations like Orion and Sirius, linking the pharaoh with the gods of the afterlife. The intrigue doesn't end there. With modern tech, robotic cameras probe these shafts, uncovering doors and chambers within, deepening the mystery. What were these ancient engineers up to? The plot thickens with the subterranean chamber, a rough-hewn space carved into the bedrock. Unlike the finished elegance of the pyramid's upper chambers, this one's all raw edges and mystery, suggesting it was abandoned mid-construction. Was it intended as Khufu's original tomb, a symbolic underworld, or something more practical like a flood defense? Theories abound, but no one's quite cracked the code. This chamber's unfinished nature has led to all sorts of speculation about its purpose and why it was left incomplete. Imagine stumbling upon a hidden chamber within one of the world's oldest and most mysterious monuments. That's exactly what happened when scientists discovered the Big Void, a revelation that's as thrilling as it is mystifying. The key to uncovering the Big Void was muon radiography, a fancy term for a technique that uses naturally occurring particles called muons, which rain down from the Earth's atmosphere. These particles have the unique ability to penetrate solid stone, providing a way to peek inside the pyramid without drilling or causing damage. By detecting variations in muon density, scientists can identify empty spaces, like our newly found void. This discovery was the result of international teamwork, part of the Scan Pyramids project, which brought together experts from around the globe to explore the pyramid's innermost secrets. So, what do we know about the Big Void? Well, it's situated above the Grand Gallery, a known cavity within the pyramid, and stretches for at least 30 meters, roughly the length of the gallery below. Its size suggests it was a significant part of the pyramid's design, but its purpose remains a tantalizing mystery. Was it intended to relieve weight from the Grand Gallery below, a hidden chamber for ceremonies, or perhaps just an architectural quirk? The truth is, we're not quite sure yet. The discovery of the Big Void opens up new avenues for exploration and research. Scientists are now considering more advanced methods to study the void in detail, like drilling small holes to insert cameras, all without harming the pyramid's structure. This void could provide invaluable insights into how the ancient Egyptians built such monumental structures and why they included such spaces within the pyramid's design. Each new discovery within the Great Pyramid is a piece of the puzzle in understanding one of humanity's most remarkable achievements. The Big Void isn't just an empty space, it's a reminder of the mysteries still waiting to be solved and the stories of the past yet to be told. The concept of the Hall of Records is an intriguing blend of mysticism, archaeology, and speculative history, largely stemming from the visions of Edgar Cayce and the theories of Graham Hancock. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, was an American clairvoyant who claimed to access a wealth of knowledge in a subconscious state. During his trance-like states, Cayce spoke of a Hall of Records, a repository containing the wisdom and history of a long-lost civilization, believed to be Atlantis. This mythical island nation, famously mentioned in Plato's dialogues, was, according to Cayce, a hub of advanced technology and spiritual knowledge.
Cayce had no apology for the limits of his psychic ability, though he continued to make world predictions. He never considered himself a prophet.
Cayce's visions placed one of these halls beneath the Sphinx in Egypt, suggesting it held records from Atlantis, including cosmic knowledge and advanced technologies. He also mentioned two other locations, one underwater near the Bahamas and another in the Yucatan region, linked to the ancient Maya. His description of Atlantis painted it as an advanced civilization, aware of its impending doom, who created these halls to preserve their knowledge for posterity. Enter Graham Hancock, a writer known for his alternative historical narratives. Hancock has been deeply interested in the Hall of Records, seeing its potential discovery as supporting evidence for his theories of a prehistoric advanced civilization.
I think the key thing is we're looking at technologies that are not the same as ours.
Yes.
And that's partly why archaeologists can't see them, because they're looking for us in the past, and they're not open to the possibility that there are whole other kinds of technology that could be used.
He believes this civilization existed during the last ice age and was lost to a global cataclysm. For Hancock, the Hall of Records isn't just a mythical concept, but could be a real repository of lost knowledge. He speculates that it might contain detailed astronomical data and advanced technologies that could challenge our understanding of ancient civilizations. Hancock's theories suggest that such a discovery could bridge the gap between myth and historical fact, providing tangible proof of a once globally influential civilization with profound knowledge in astronomy and architecture.
We're looking at the clues that lead to specific locations. That shaft which led to that doorway was always a clue. The opening of that shaft was sealed until 1872. The last 5 inches of stone over the mouth of that shaft had been left deliberately in place.
Now moving on, the discovery of the sunken city of Thonis Heracleion off the coast of Egypt has been a remarkable window into the past, unveiling a wealth of information about the ancient world. Located strategically near the canopic mouth of the Nile, north of Abu Qir Bay, Thonis Heracleion was a pivotal maritime hub. Its position was crucial for navigation and commerce, bridging the Nile River with the vast Mediterranean Sea. The city, with its natural harbor shielded by a chain of islands, thrived as a major port, a testament to its urban and architectural prowess as indicated by the remnants of a network of canals, docks, and temple complexes. Rediscovered in the early 2000s, Thonis Heracleion had been submerged and lost for centuries before French underwater archaeologist Frank Goddio and his team, employing advanced techniques like sonar scanning, brought it back to light. This monumental discovery, made in collaboration with the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities, ensured that the findings were well documented and preserved. The utilization of cutting-edge technology in underwater archaeology has been pivotal in mapping the city's layout and recovering artifacts, offering us a clearer picture of its past. Dating back to at least the 12th century BC, Thonis Heracleion was more than just a city. It was a bustling hub during its heyday in the late Pharaonic and early Greco-Roman periods. As a significant commercial center, it played an integral role in the Mediterranean trade network, dealing in goods like grain, papyrus, precious metals, and spices. But its significance wasn't limited to trade alone. The city was a cultural melting pot, blending Egyptian, Greek, and Roman cultures. This amalgamation was reflected in the diverse range of artifacts unearthed, including statues and inscriptions, showcasing various artistic styles and cultural influences. The city's religious significance cannot be overstated. With its large temples and sanctuaries dedicated to numerous Egyptian gods and goddesses, Thonis Heracleion was a spiritual beacon, especially known for hosting the annual Mysteries of Osiris rituals. Politically too, it was a powerhouse, serving as a primary entry point for foreign diplomats and traders to Egypt, and playing a crucial role in international relations. Its administrative significance was also marked, given its role in tax collection and governance.
The Society for American Archaeologists claimed that they could absolutely for certain be sure that there was no lost civilization during the Ice Age. They knew, it was a fact, and if there had been any civilization, they would have found it, and they would have published it.
The archaeological treasures unearthed from the sunken city of Thonis Heracleion have been absolutely incredible, each offering a unique glimpse into the life and times of this ancient Egyptian city. For starters, the discovery of over 64 ancient shipwrecks is remarkable. It's not just the number that's impressive, but also their state of preservation. These wrecks are like time capsules, giving us a real sense of the maritime activities that once buzzed in this port. They tell us about the shipbuilding techniques of the era, how these vessels were designed, constructed, and the materials used. The diversity of ships, from grand cargo vessels to smaller boats, paints a picture of a bustling harbor engaged in a wide range of maritime endeavors, and the cargo remnants, including amphorae and various trade goods, speak volumes about Thonis Heracleion's extensive trade network. Then, there are the anchors, about 700 of them. This is unheard of in underwater archaeology and speaks to the sheer scale of the port's operations. The size and design of some of these anchors suggest they were used by large, heavy ships, showcasing the port's capacity and technological prowess at the time. The materials used, stone, metal, reflect not just the resources available but also the level of craftsmanship and maritime technology of the period. The statues they found are simply awe-inspiring. Imagine coming face to face with a 16-foot-tall statue underwater. These statues, representing gods, goddesses, pharaohs, and perhaps significant city figures, give us a window into the religious and political life of Thonis Heracleion. Made from granite and diorite, they're not just huge, they're also beautifully crafted, a testament to the city's wealth and its cultural significance. Gold coins are another major find. The substantial quantity of coins discovered indicates the city's economic prosperity. These coins span across various eras and rulers, providing a timeline of the city's prominence and its connections in trade. They're solid proof of Thonis Heracleion's active role in regional and international trade networks.
You have to be careful when you look at underwater structures. You have to look at all the conditions that have led to their submergence. And in some cases, it's very clear that they've been underwater for a very, very, very long time indeed.
Thonis Heracleion is like a treasure trove for anyone fascinated by ancient civilizations. The way this city was laid out tells us so much about the people who lived there and their advanced understanding of urban planning. They had a network of canals, roads, and buildings, all systematically arranged, which is pretty impressive when you think about how old this city is. These canals were crucial for transport and trade, functioning like water-based roadways. It's amazing to imagine boats navigating these waterways as part of daily life in the city. Then there's the city's architecture, particularly its temples. Thonis Heraclean wasn't just a trading hub, it was a religious center too. The temples there were dedicated to various deities like Amun and Heracles, showcasing the religious diversity of the time. These weren't just simple structures, they were architecturally grand, with large columns, statues, and intricate carvings. It's fascinating to think about how these temples were not only places of worship, but also centers for social and cultural activities. They played a significant role in the daily life of the city. The city's role as a cultural hub is further highlighted by the artifacts found there, which show a blend of Egyptian, Greek, and Roman influences.
I think we're looking at something from Alexandria here.
Yes.
Yeah, we are. I've dived there as well. That's inundated not because of sea level rise, but because of subsidence of the Nile silts.
Moving on to more underwater locations in Egypt, Cleopatra's palace in Alexandria is truly a fascinating subject, especially when you dive into its location, historical context, and the treasures it held. Nestled in the eastern harbor of Alexandria, the palace was not just any royal residence. It was located in the most prestigious part of the city, known as the Royal Quarter. This was where the heart of political and cultural activity in the Ptolemaic period beat the strongest. Now think about Cleopatra Severin, the figure to whom this palace belonged. She was the last pharaoh of the Ptolemaic kingdom, renowned for her intelligence, charisma, and her liaisons with figures like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. The palace, from its architecture to its contents, was a reflection of her power and prestige. Imagine a grand structure combining traditional Egyptian and Hellenistic architectural elements with lavish decorations and intricate detailing. It wasn't just a place to live, it was a statement of power and culture. The palace was probably filled with lush gardens and courtyards, offering a peaceful retreat in the midst of a bustling city. And given Alexandria's reputation as a center of learning and scholarship, it wouldn't be surprising if Cleopatra's palace housed extensive libraries and study areas. This would have been a place where the intellectual elite of the period gathered. The grand reception halls in the palace would have been venues for diplomatic events and political discussions, playing a crucial role in the international politics of the era. The artifacts and architectural elements discovered from this palace are like pieces of a historical puzzle. Statues, possibly depicting Cleopatra, Ptolemaic rulers, and Egyptian gods, made from materials like granite and basalt, give us a glimpse into the artistic excellence of the time. The columns and other architectural fragments found at the site tell a story of opulence and artistic fusion, where Greek and Roman influences blended with Egyptian motifs. And then there are the sphinxes, symbolizing royal power and religious significance, perfectly illustrating the cultural synthesis that was characteristic of the Ptolemaic period. These discoveries are not just about Cleopatra's personal tastes. They provide a deeper understanding of the Ptolemaic society during her reign. The blend of Egyptian, Greek, and Roman elements found in the palace's architecture and artifacts reflects the rich cultural diversity and exchange that occurred under Cleopatra's rule.
By day, the Sphinx gazes eastward over the desert, majestic and inscrutable. By night, under a blanket of stars, it becomes a dark silhouette of enigma. For millennia, this half-human, half-lion guardian has loomed over Giza, its carved face weathered by wind and time, yet seemingly guarding untold secrets. Legends have long clung to it like grains of sand. As far back as the Roman era, whispers spread that the Sphinx was hollow and hid the tomb of an ancient king within. Through the ages, people imagined secret vaults and treasure hoards sealed beneath its massive pores, waiting to be discovered. For generations, those tales remained unproven whispers until modern science stepped in. In recent years, archaeologists armed with cutting-edge technology finally peered beneath the Sphinx. What they found sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Ground-penetrating radar and seismic sensors revealed inexplicable anomalies under the monument, empty spaces where solid rock should be. It was as if the Sphinx itself had hollow pockets, hidden rooms lying in wait deep below the sand. News of these hidden cavities ignited a firestorm of speculation around the world. Could this be proof that the old legends were true? Mainstream experts urged caution, noting that the voids might be nothing more than natural fissures in the limestone, but others dared to dream. What if those scans had pinpointed the entrance to something incredible? What if it was the long-rumored Hall of Records itself, an archive of ancient knowledge thought by some to be buried here since antiquity? The Hall of Records, a name that has lived in myth and mystery for decades. According to lore, it's a secret library hiding the wisdom of a lost age. In the 1930s, American mystic Edgar Cayce famously claimed that refugees from the lost city of Atlantis hid their civilization's records in a chamber beneath the Sphinx. In his vision, this Hall of Records held scrolls and tablets of ancient knowledge, waiting for the day they would be rediscovered. For nearly a century, scholars and explorers scoffed at the idea as fantasy. Yet the legend never truly died, and now, with the detection of these chambers, it's back in the spotlight. Yet this isn't the first attempt to pry secrets from the Sphinx's stone embrace. Over the years, many have tried to unlock its mysteries, often with frustrating results. In 1837, British adventurer Howard Vyse drilled into the Sphinx's head in search of hidden rooms. His drill punched down 27 feet and struck nothing but air and stone. He managed to retrieve only a fragment of the Sphinx's headdress for his trouble. In the 1920s, local workers spoke of a tunnel descending into the Sphinx's hindquarters. When archaeologists cleared it out in 1980, it led down into the bedrock and ended in stagnant water, yielding no treasure, just mud and modern debris. Official excavations over the decades have found a few small passages and dead-end shafts inside the Sphinx, but no grand chamber. Nothing that confirms the Hall of Records or any great secret. Stranger still, the Sphinx itself might be a clue that something remains hidden. Its body is deeply scarred with erosion patterns that some geologists say could only have been caused by torrential rains, not just wind and sand. Egypt hasn't seen heavy rainfall like that since about 7000 BC. If those geologists are right, the Sphinx could be far older than the civilization that officially built it. This raises a staggering possibility. Perhaps an unknown culture, long before the pharaohs, carved this monument and left something important hidden beneath it. An advanced civilization lost to history, some even whisper of Atlantis, may have placed a record of its existence under the Sphinx. As researchers puzzle over these findings, the stars themselves seem to offer hints. The Great Sphinx stares due east, toward the rising sun. Incredibly, if one rewinds the sky to around 10,500 BC, the dawn at Giza would have occurred under the constellation of Leo, the lion, a lion monument gazing at a lion in the heavens, at the very epoch some believe the Sphinx was born. Coincidence, or a deliberate alignment meant to mark an era of importance? This cosmic coincidence sends a shiver down the spine. As if the Sphinx is silently telling us that its origins, and perhaps its secrets, trace back to a time and knowledge long forgotten. Today, we stand on the brink of answers. The prospect of finally exploring these hidden chambers has archaeologists and history lovers holding their breath. Imagine the moment. A team of researchers drills a small passage and inserts a camera into the darkness beneath the Sphinx. The beam of light cuts through dust that hasn't moved in millennia. Stale, cool air rushes out, carrying the scent of antiquity. The camera's light sweeps across a stone wall, and there, engraved in the rock, are symbols no living person has ever seen. The floor of the chamber comes into view, covered in sand and debris that might include ancient artifacts. In that silent space, untouched for ages, a great revelation could be at hand. What might they find in that undisturbed darkness? Perhaps shelves of papyrus scrolls, neatly stored in sealed clay jars, containing wisdom from a time before the pharaohs, or an ornate chest adorned with golden hieroglyphs, holding objects or texts that defy everything we know of Egyptian history. There could be statues, tools, or inscriptions unlike any discovered before, tangible proof of a chapter of civilization that until now existed only in myth. Even a single artifact from such a chamber could upend history. It would be like discovering the Library of Alexandria, not in ruins, but intact and far older than anyone imagined. Knowledge from an age beyond the dynasties of Egypt could suddenly come to light, shaking the foundations of archaeology and history. For now, the enigma endures. The chambers beneath the Sphinx remain sealed, their contents a riddle awaiting a willing explorer. The Great Sphinx continues its eternal vigil, gazing over the desert as it has for thousands of years. silent about what lies under its pores. But not forever. But if hidden chambers beneath the Sphinx could hold secrets, what about the mystery hiding right above us? For years, researchers puzzled over a strange, sealed hatch at the very top of the Sphinx's head. And now, it's finally been opened. What they found inside might be even more shocking. The NYU researchers, led by Leif Ristroff, conducted a laboratory experiment aimed at exploring the potential of wind erosion to sculpt rock formations into recognizable shapes. Specifically, they investigated whether a naturally occurring, roughly conical mound of material with a harder inclusion, representing the head, could be eroded by a consistent, unidirectional flow of water, simulating wind, into a form resembling a seated lion. Their model used a mound of bentonite clay, a material known for its susceptibility to erosion, with a short cylindrical piece of plastic embedded near the top to represent the harder rock that makes up the Sphinx's head. This model was placed in a water tunnel, and the flow was carefully controlled to come from a single direction, mimicking a constant wind. Over time, the water eroded the clay, creating a neck-like structure below the head and rudimentary pores at the base. The researchers documented this process using streak-like imaging, showcasing how the flow sculpted the clay. The experiment did demonstrate that, under these highly specific and controlled conditions, a vaguely leonine shape could emerge. This led the researchers to suggest that a similar process might have occurred at Giza, with natural wind erosion creating a proto-sphinx that later inspired and guided the final carving by ancient Egyptians. While the NYU experiment is scientifically valid within its own parameters, its applicability to the actual Great Sphinx is severely limited, and indeed, fundamentally flawed. The experiment's assumptions clash dramatically with the well-established historical and geological realities of the Giza Plateau, realities meticulously documented over centuries of archaeological and geological investigation. The most glaring discrepancy lies in the very foundation of the Sphinx. The NYU model presupposes a freestanding mound, exposed to wind from all sides. The Great Sphinx, however, sits within a deeply quarried hollow, carved down into the bedrock of the Giza Plateau. This is not a minor detail. It is the defining characteristic of the monument's creation. The Sphinx's pores, which emerged naturally in the experiment, were, in reality, painstakingly excavated by human hands, a testament to the immense labor and planning involved in the project. This practice of quarrying massive amounts of stone is a hallmark of Old Kingdom Egyptian construction, evident in the pyramids, the valley temples, and countless other monuments. The very act of creating the Sphinx enclosure removed any pre-existing natural formation that might have vaguely resembled a lion. The NYU experiment relies on a crucial and ultimately incorrect assumption: a constant unidirectional wind. The winds at Giza, both today and in antiquity, are far more complex and variable. Meteorological records, as well as historical accounts of sandstorms and wind patterns, demonstrate that Giza experiences winds from multiple directions, subject to seasonal shifts and unpredictable gusts. This variability would have prevented the formation of the precisely oriented, symmetrical erosion patterns observed in the controlled environment of the water tunnel. The assumption of a single prevailing wind simply does not hold up to scrutiny. The Sphinx's weathering is a far more intricate story than simply wind erosion. Its geological history, spanning millions of years, involves a complex interplay of forces, each leaving its mark on the monument. Tectonic activity. The Giza Plateau is not geologically static. Tectonic shifts and fault lines have created significant cracks and fissures within the Sphinx, features entirely absent from the smooth, homogeneous clay of the NYU model. These cracks, documented by geologists like Colin Reeder, significantly influence weathering patterns. Groundwater intrusion and salt exfoliation. The lower portions of the Sphinx, closer to the ancient water table, have been subjected to groundwater wicking. This process draws water up through the porous limestone, carrying dissolved salts. As the water evaporates, the salts crystallize, exerting pressure on the rock and causing it to flake and crumble, a process known as salt exfoliation. This is a major factor in the Sphinx's deterioration, particularly evident in the lower body and pores. Rainfall and runoff. Although rainfall is relatively infrequent in the Giza desert today, historical records and geological evidence suggest that periods of more intense rainfall occurred in the past. These events would have contributed to erosion through surface runoff, carving channels, and further shaping the monument in ways not accounted for in the unidirectional flow of the experiment. The makeup of the rock. The experiment failed to account for the different rock hardness that is present at Giza. The bottom and top are harder, while the middle is a softer rock. The NYU experiment fundamentally misrepresents the geology of the Sphinx. It depicts the head as a single, isolated, harder inclusion embedded within a softer surrounding material. In reality, the hard, resistant limestone that forms the Sphinx's head is part of a continuous stratum that extends across the entire Giza plateau. This same layer was extensively quarried by the ancient Egyptians to provide the massive blocks used to construct the Great Pyramid, a testament to its durability and extent. Geological surveys, core samples, and the visible evidence of quarrying all confirm this. The Sphinx was carved down into this pre-existing layered geological formation, a crucial fact that invalidates the experiment's basic premise. Wind-sculpted rock formations, known as yardangs, are a real geological phenomenon. In arid environments with consistent unidirectional winds and specific rock compositions, they can sometimes resemble animals or other recognizable shapes. However, the specific conditions required for the formation of a yardang resembling the NYU model's outcome, a small, isolated, hard inclusion within a much larger mass of softer, easily erodible material, coupled with unwavering unidirectional wind, are not representative of the Giza Plateau's complex geological history and variable wind patterns. While a yardang might have existed in the general area before the Sphinx enclosure was quarried, it could not have resembled the final form of the Sphinx, and crucially, it would have been removed during the quarrying process. The NYU research, while scientifically sound within its own limited scope, offers no credible explanation for the origin of the Great Sphinx of Giza. The overwhelming weight of archaeological and geological evidence, accumulated over centuries of study, points unequivocally to the Sphinx as a monument deliberately conceived, planned, and meticulously carved by ancient Egyptian artisans. The quarrying marks, the alignment with other Old Kingdom structures, the geological layering, and the complex history of weathering all contradict the simplistic wind-made narrative.